Hey friends, welcome back. We have got another video for you. Here we go. History remembers the wars, the victories, the grand headlines. But beneath all that noise, there are quiet stories breathing. Stories of people who chose to feel instead of fight. It turns out empathy has always been a form of rebellion, the softest yet bravest kind of courage. In the ancient world, survival meant defense. Tribes built walls and hearts built armor. Fear was a form of wisdom back then. It kept the fire burning and the predators at bay. But over time, we learned something much deeper. Connection kept us alive longer than isolation ever could. An archaeologist once said the oldest sign of true civilization wasn't a clay pot, a hunting tool, or a weapon. It was a healed femur bone. Think about that. Someone had broken their leg, a fatal injury in the wild, but another person had stayed with them, hunted for them, protected them long enough for the bone to mend. That is empathy, written directly into our history. It's proof that our instinct for compassion is far older than our history of conquest. Still, empathy isn't easy. To truly feel another person's pain is to risk reopening your own wounds. It demands vulnerability, a trembling kind of bravery. The world often mistakes this openness for weakness, but it takes immense strength to stay open when every instinct tells you to shut down. Fear whispers, protect yourself. Empathy answers, protect each other. The journey to empathy begins right where fear seems to end, not by erasing fear, but by walking alongside it, holding its hand until it softens. Think of those quiet, powerful moments in history, the nurse in the trenches tending to a fallen soldier from the other side, the protester who links arms instead of raising fists, the stranger on the street who stops for another's cry. These people aren't fearless, they're just full of feeling, and that is what true courage is. It's not the absence of fear, but the decision to move through it with grace and connection. In our modern world, empathy can still feel like a huge risk. We scroll past suffering online, we label it someone else's problem, because honestly, to care too deeply hurts. But history is asking us to remember something vital. We rise when we reach out. Empathy builds bridges that no empire, no matter how powerful, could ever construct. It turns strangers into stories, stories into understanding, and understanding into a chance for peace. And that peace always begins in one small, quiet place, inside. When you dare to sit with your own pain, you begin to learn the language of another's. You start to hear the world differently. That's how empathy truly grows, not in big crowds or grand gestures, but in small, unseen choices. The choice to listen before you speak, to understand before you judge, to stay when it would be so much easier to just turn away. Over time, these small, consistent acts become a revolution. Not a revolution of weapons, but of hearts that are remembering how to feel again. In the end, history will forget most of the noise. The arguments, the fleeting victories, the temporary divides, but it will remember the healing. Empathy is how we overcome fear, by finally seeing ourselves in one another. So when the world feels broken and divided, let's not begin with an argument. Let's begin by listening, because courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simply whispers, "I see you." Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this message resonated with you, please consider liking this video, share and subscribing to the channel. See you next time.